Hey guys, and welcome to my world building vlog. So my name is Erin and I am a writer and I'm working on several fantasy books, so I figured I might as well go through all of the world building topics with you guys while I'm picking away at my own stories. And I'm not aiming to give advice, it's more just things to consider when you're crafting your own things. So today's topic is going to be relationships, because no character is an island, and chances are if they are in your story, it's part of the plot. So, we're going to be talking about both romantic and platonic relationships and kind of going through how you can use those to enrich the story and work them into your plot. So when it comes to the differences between romantic and platonic relationships, you're going to want to find out if your society values one over the other, if your characters value one over the other, or really how they feel about them in general. So when your character is being created, you're obviously going to have like their general family unit, their friends, love interests, and all that kind of stuff. And the relationships that you form with your characters between them and their society and them and the other characters is going to hugely impact how your plot goes, because that is going to be including your enemies, your allies, obstacles, all that kind of stuff. Also, as you're developing different types of people in your societies, you're going to want to find out if there are any stigmas for people entering these relationships. Like, is it really weird for a rich person and a poor person to be friends or romantically involved? Is it okay for people from different religions, different cultures, different races, all that sort of thing? You're going to want to find out who can be in these relationships, and if you're putting them in them based on something that society doesn't approve of, then what is the implication for that? When we're looking at romantic relationships, a lot of times marriages are going to come into play. So when you are figuring out marriages, you're going to want to know a few basic details, such as what is the average age that people are getting married, what is the minimum age, because in a lot of stories you'll see people getting married as teenagers, and you don't have to. You can put in a restriction and be like, hey, no one under this age can get married, and run with that. You're also going to want to consider if love matches are allowed or if they're all going to be arranged marriages, how much consent either party has into entering in these relationships. Also with marriages, you're going to want to consider if there is a religious ceremony or a civil ceremony, or what kind of things are being involved into the bonding of two or however many people you're going to have in your legal relationships. Relationships of all varieties are a good opportunity for you to write in diverse characters. So this is going to include people of different sexual orientations, different levels of ability, different races, different religions, different cultures, all that sort of thing. You can go wild. You don't have to have homogeneous cast of characters, and you can use the different relationships to highlight differences in different societies. The important thing here is that you are going to want to develop friendships and relationships that are diverse and engaging and include a whole lot of different types of people. Obviously, you can have very, very similar ones. A lot of stories do, where everyone is just friends with the exact same type of person that they are. That's fine, but you don't have to. Especially if you're doing a fantasy, you have a lot of flexibility in the people, even different species. If you're having humanoid whatevers, those can be included in this type of world building as well. Your main character and your other major supporting characters, you should know how they feel about each of the different types of relationships that they're going to encounter. Do they want to get married? Do they want to be romantically involved? Do they want to be sexually involved? Who do they want to be friends with and why? And you're also going to want to know, how do the people around them feel about those different beliefs and what your main character wants to be involved in. Maybe they want to break the mold of society and their family is like, what are you doing? Why are you even considering this? That's not an option. Then you can kind of work with different taboos and stigmas that society is pressing onto your characters. And you want to keep in mind that your characters are definitely going to encounter relationships at some point in your story. Whether it's just friendships, that's fine. But if your character is completely isolated, then that's probably going to be part of the plot, and there's a reason for it. Do they want to be in that situation? Are they searching for a specific type of relationship? Are they just generally being barred from having any contact with people, and why? So relationships are a huge part of a lot of people's identities. Like, you know yourself as, like, you know, mother, daughter, friend, etc. And a lot of people will use that to build their own identity. So your characters are probably going to have at least some influence based on the people around them. You can use the characters and their desires for these different relationships, or their desires to avoid specific relationships, into the plot. You just want to be sure that you're treating all relationships with respect, come at them from a good point of view, and you can build a really interesting and enriched story. Ultimately, interesting characters are going to build interesting relationships, and you just want to be aware of how each of those dynamics is going to be influenced by the world that you're creating. So, that is all I've got for you today in regards to relationships and world building. If you have any questions, feel free to tweet me, Tumblr, all of that. I'll put the links in the description. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys.